Hello, friends, and welcome back to another Kitchen Table Talk. My name is Wendy with Inspire Ministries, and I am so glad that you have decided to click on this short video to watch today. I am hoping that it will be encouragement for you today. It's something that I wrote about a year ago, but something that I feel as though somebody needs to hear. So I want to start out this video by talking about how I do not like to fly. I will admit, I'm just not a good flyer. I just find myself not loving to get on an airplane. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but every time I'm getting ready to board a flight, I have a level of anxiety that I begin to feel within my spirit happen. And so let me just tell you a little bit of a story. We live in Indiana, in northern Indiana, and one of the places that we have an opportunity to fly out of is about 20 minutes from here, or we can fly out from Chicago, which is 2 hours from here. And so my husband and I, when we fly, now primarily we are taking trips to see my daughter and her husband in California. But when we fly, we like to fly out of South Bend because it's really close to where we live. It's convenient. And so one of the things that is the drawback for doing so is that we have to take a smaller flight from South Bend, Indiana to Detroit, Michigan, and then fly out from Michigan to California. And it's always that first flight from Indiana to Detroit Metro that the plane is not fun to fly on. It's a smaller plane. There's a lot more turbulence. And while it's a small flight, it's only about 20 minutes long, it tends to be ridiculously turbulent. And I do not like it. I do not enjoy it one bit at all. In fact, I would do better if I just knew that there was no layover whatsoever. I could just get on the plane and fly right there. But I really feel a lot of anxiety when I board a plane. And so unfortunately, that means that I don't enjoy to travel that much. And so one of the things that I was thinking of in the last flight that I was on with my husband is I find myself being worried when turbulence happens, like ridiculously worried when turbulence happens until I can look at my husband and I can meet his eyes, where I can really look into his eyes. And let me explain that. So we were on a flight home from seeing my daughter and her husband last fall, and we were in Detroit getting ready to board the plane, and there had been some delays earlier that day in different flights that we had taken, and it was all because of airplane trouble, right? There was some kind of mechanical error with the flight. And so I had that weighing heavy on my mind, like, oh, maybe there's mechanical issues on our plane as well. And so I remember that flight home from Detroit to South Bend, and it was turbulent. It was really, really turbulent. And it was hard, and the plane was all over the place, and I was hearing these loud noises. And I just remember clinging on to my husband, sitting there in that plane, clinging on to my husband. And I just kept looking at him saying, what was that? What is that? And he was calm. His posture was not bothered at all. His countenance was perfect. He had no worry. In fact, he fell asleep in part of that way home, in part of that flight home, because there was nothing in his estimation to worry about. And here I was having a fit, thinking we were going to crash, thinking the plane was going to, have some kind of malfunction, and thinking that we were going to die. And I don't do well with flying, but I know that if I can look at my husband's face, he gives me the reassurance that I need. He gives me that calm, that ease that I know that I need. I know that if I can look at his face and he's not worried, then I have nothing to worry about. I know that if I look at him and he is not acting fretful and he is not frightened and he is not afraid, then I don't need to feel afraid. And so I started thinking about that is the way it is with the Father. That is the way it is with our Father in heaven. That if we are going through a situation that is trying, or a situation that is troubling, or when we are in the middle of a situation that is challenging or has us fearful, all we need to do is look for the face of the Father. You know, we can read all throughout the Psalms and find where David, the number one thing in David's life, the number one concern with David in his life is being near the presence of the Lord. He was one that said, you know what, take everything from me, strip me of my gifts and my talents, take me away from the friendships of this world. The one thing that I'm after, the one thing that I seek is to live and to dwell in the presence of the Lord forever and ever. And so for him, presence was the real deal. He knew that there was no real presence of evil as long as he was in the presence of the Lord. And so that is what I'm encouraging you today to do, is look for where is the Father standing in your circumstance? Where is he standing in your mess? Is he in the corner worrying with you? Is he thinking to himself, oh, I'm not really sure how we're going to get through this, or I'm not really sure how we're going to overcome this? No, he is standing in the place of victory. And so what we need to do is find ourselves standing where he is standing. One of the things that I remember, my daughter and my son-in-law got married in our backyard, just here in our house in Indiana. And we were worried about what we were going to do with our little dog. We have a Shorkie, part Yorkie, part Shih Tzu. And she was in the backyard. And I was worried about what we were going to do with her, because I knew that if we put her inside the house, she was definitely going to bark. If we let her outside but kept her like in a specific area chained up, that she would whine, she would disturb the ceremony. And so what we just decided to do is we were just going to let her go. My husband's like, you know what, just let her go. So we put this cute little tutu on her, and she walked around the entire ceremony, looking up and down the aisles, meeting with different people, and it was really cute to see. But I remember looking at one particular time out there, looking for her, and I found her, and she was going up and down each aisle. And what I found that she was doing is she was looking up at every person that she would pass by, every person. And I knew what she was looking for was the familiar face of either me or my husband, because we're the ones that she's around constantly. And so she was looking, where is mama? Where is daddy? She was looking for, where is that familiar face? Where is that reassurance where I can lock eyes with that person that I know, that I'm familiar with, that I love, who takes care of me? And that way I can have the assurance that everything is going to be okay. And so that is how we need to be with God. We need to make sure that we are finding, where is it that he is standing in my circumstance, and then go stand next to him. Be with him. Dwell with him. Look for the face of the Father. And when we can look at the face of the Father and he doesn't have worry and he doesn't have concern, then we know that we have the reassurance, that we don't have anything to fear, that we don't have anything to be anxious about, that we have nothing to be afraid of. Isaiah 26:3 says this, you will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you and all whose thoughts are fixed on you. Are your thoughts fixed on God today? Are your thoughts fixed on Jesus today? Are you saying, you know what? I don't care what is happening in my day. I don't care what is trying to disturb my peace. My eyes, my gaze is fixed upon the Father. So find out where it is that Jesus is standing in your circumstance, and then go stand next to him. Be with him, dwell within his presence. And I promise you, that is the safest place to be. You find him in the word. You find him in your prayer time. You find him in that still, quiet place. Find him today. If you are worried and you find yourself anxious or fearful, think about locking eyes with your Savior. And if he isn't worried, friends, you have nothing to be worried about. You can find rest in keeping your eyes, keeping your gaze and your thoughts fixed upon him. I hope that this has encouraged you today. And I want you to know that I am praying for you. And I pray that you have an awesome day with Jesus. Bye, friends.